Okay, so we started this. I will link the first video below, and let's work on some pages. So if you did the same page layouts that I did, you end up with this 2.5 inch strip here, and we can make that a little pocket, like a lollipop pocket I call it, and that adds a lot of interest. Let's go ahead and do that. So I have scraps from the beginning, and this just happens to measure. You can use any measurement you have. This one's about 3 7/8, so you don't have to make it that, and this is 2.5, so we're going to cut this at 3.5. So this one just happens to be 3 7/8 by 3.5, but you can use whatever height you have. And get your scoreboard out. And score at 3 inches and 1/2 inch. And it's going to give us a little pocket in the front. And then when you put these pockets on, make sure that you have a little bit of room left here, because you want your flaps to open and close okay. If it's in the way, it won't. Okay. And I will take my glue, and we're going to glue both sides of the flap that I just created, and then the bottom. And I did a dry fit. I know this is going to fit up good if I line it up with the outside edge. And you can mat as you go if you want. It saves paper if you do all the pages and then mat at the end. It's just a personal preference of what you want to do. I think maybe I will go ahead and mat as we go, just because it makes for a more interesting time, I guess. And I don't know if I'm going to bring a punch in or not, like a border punch or a corner punch or anything. I guess we'll find out later. Okay, so this image is actually from the 12 by 12 cover, and I just cut off about this much. It would lay perfectly on here without cutting that, but I want to make it a flat because I can. So I cut a piece of cardstock about 6 by 8 3/4. This pattern is about 5.5 by 8 5/8, so it's going to leave about a 1/16 all the way around and give me a 1/2 inch to do the gusset. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down so I can see exactly where I need to do this. Where I need to score it. just leave yourself like a 1/16. Not that we needed an extra page, but now we have one. I just wanted to be able to use this image. Now I'm going to glue this close to the spine, but leave myself about a 1/16 of an inch so that it opens and closes okay. If you want to put a magnet on this, you can, but you don't have to, because it opens the same way the book opens. If you put it so that it opened this way, you may have to put a magnet on it so that it doesn't interfere with the book when it closes. So in order to determine where this goes, I'm going to go ahead and fold the book so that I make sure that it doesn't go in the corner, and then make sure that it's straight. And now we have this front page flap here, and you can go ahead and put a pocket here if you want. I think I'm just going to leave this one plain, so I need to find another big piece of paper. Let's see if I can't mess this up. 5 3/8 by 8 5/8. Go do a test fit. Looks good. And distress the edges. If I can discipline myself to distress the edges throughout the entire book, we'll be going good. I usually forget, but if I do it while I go, instead of matting all at once, I'm more likely to It happens to measure about 4 inches, and I cut it to 7, so it'll fit as a pocket over here. Do a dry fit, make sure it's not going to go over this fold. Glue the sides and the bottom. We're going to line it up with this side. Okay. Again, that's 4. After we fold it, it's 4 by 6. And so we're going to do this mat here. It's 5 7/8. So I'm going to cut it at 5 3/4. And I'm going to use this paper. We're going to let it sink down into the pocket just a little bit, so we'll cut it at about 6. And then this one is almost 4. So I'm going to cut that one at 3 7/8. I pulled some craft color cardstock. It's actually more of a texture of like a paper bag than it is cardstock. We're going to use that for the mats. I'm going to take just a tiny bit off of that because I'm going to run up against this edge. I'll probably have to take some off the other one too. Oh, he fits. I think the mats I'm going to go ahead and put in, but I'm going to wait to mat them actually. Or if I'm going to mat them, I don't know. Usually the breaking up the color a little bit is a good idea. So this is the cardstock, and it's really thick, and it's actually got a rough texture, like I said, like a paper bag. So I think we'll do a 5x7 mat. That'll be fine. And then we'll put one of these on there. Put that on top. And you can put a nice photo or do journaling or both on here. And then I want to put one of the color parts. I think maybe just this one. Okay, and that one will just stick in there. And then the front cover is decorated. This little bitty tiny pocket here. Don't have any scraps big enough for that one. Use that. about this one? I like this one. We'll go all the way up with it. So I'm going to do about a 2 3/8. By 5 and by 3 3/4. That's cute. I think I'm going to go find a corner punch for these. This one, I think I'm going to do a 2-inch. We'll leave it at 7, I think, but we'll make it a folder, so we're going to cut it at 4 inches. Score it 2. And then I'm going to put a tab on there, and I'm going to get a corner punch. An oldie but goodie. We Are Memory Keepers Deco Punch. And find my bone folder. Alright, we're going to use a silhouette squeegee until I can find my bone folder. And then I'm going to put a tab on this one too. While that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and punch these corners with the Deco punch. That is the front of page 1, because remember it's just a small page. And on the back, I think we're just going to leave it plain because we have a lot going on so far. Of course, I need a bigger piece of paper. I think we'll pull this one out. So the full height, I should just write this down so that I don't have to keep measuring it, is 8.5, and this one measures 2.5. So I'm going to cut it at 8 3/8 by 2 3/8. Page 1 complete. I screwed something up here. It's not straight. I certainly did. So let's fix that because I'm personally not okay with that. This is undo, and it's wonderful. It is 4 mistakes, and it's linked in my Amazon store. So if you go to the links down below, there's a link to my Amazon store, and look up the scrapbooking section, and you'll see this little bottle of undo and then a giant bottle of undo. And yes, I do own both. I refill this one with that one. But let me show you something about this. That's how easy it is. The tape is actually still stuck to that. And this paper is perfectly fine. So let's try that again. Knowing that this is crooked, I'm going to set it up here, and I'm going to cut it off of the straight side. And it's just undo because nobody's perfect. I've saved entire albums because I used pattern paper one time for the hinge system, and it cracked. All the pages were going to fall out, so I took the entire hinge, score taped on. I took the entire hinge off. I took the paper for the front covers off where it was overlapping. There we go. Much better. And I took every single page off of the hinge because it was the hidden hinge system. So, undo. Get you some. Okay. So now we have decisions to make, like what do we want to do, what interactive elements do we want in the book, and for that I'm going to go to another book that I've already made. So hang on just a second. Let's use our Mente Sugar Cookie Collection for a sample. So I started off a little different on this one. By the way, this is a faux finish, and this one's still available in my Etsy store while supplies last. So on this one, this first page, we did a double fold with a border punch. I do have border punch out that we can use there. So this is very achievable. Pages are 8.5 inch tall, so I'm going to use my 8.5 inch paper, and we'll cut one at 4 inches, well, we'll do 4.5 because we need a hinge, and the other one we'll do at 3.5. So one at 4.5 and one at 3.5. Keep your 8.5 inch length. Score on the long side. It's time to get another bone folder. Every time I do a project, I cannot find my bone. Oh, here it is. It's hiding underneath my paper. I need to change my paper. Okay. I want to make sure that these overlap before I glue them down. If they don't, I can always use it somewhere else. Because I want, yeah, it's fine. So I want this piece on the left here to overlap this piece so that when you close it, this one doesn't get stuck and hit this page. So we're good. And we're going to do the border punch, and this is just an old Stampin' Up! Border punch, scalloped edge, just to add some interest. If any of you are new to scraps, if you're not new to scrapbooking, just stop me, like, just ignore me. If you are new to scrapbooking, the trick to punches is to line up what you've already punched with this over here. So, if you don't know that, you will have trouble with corner punches, or side punches. And this one's going to butt right up against this page. Give yourself a good 1/16 of an inch. You don't need a whole lot of room. But you don't want it right on the bend either. And then this one lines up on the opposite side. And I've made a lot of minis, and my personal opinion, ATG tape is just fine for this. Okay, so there we go. Fold everything in and out, make sure everything works. And then we're gonna go 8 3/8 by 3 7/8 and by 2, no, 2.5. And our paper this time, I'm gonna go with that one. I like the pop of blue. And then this one will get a tab on it also. And this one was 2 3/8. How many pages did we add to this? I shall look. Line it up with the outside where you want it. And then the inside, I'm going to put the other piece of that. And then on the flaps, we'll do something different. That's going to be 5 1/4. And be sure you keep all your little cuts because it is Scraptober when we use as many scraps as we can in between our projects. Make sure I get it all right. Okay, this side and this side, I think we're going to go with just the brown. I think that'll look nice. That's not big enough. So 8 3/8 by 3 3/8. It's just nice to break it up every once in a while. That don't work. Okay, 2 3/8. It's nice to break up the patterns. And I don't think I'm going to distress this one. So, the work in the basement is going to start soon. We have emptied the room for the most part. The new scrapbook room, and I've been putting little glimpses on the Facebook group, the ASC Facebook group, of what's been going on. So that's fun. And for me, it's allergy season, so everybody knows. I will try not to be super congested on the days I make my videos. But for now, until it gets super cold outside, yeah, I sound like Darth Vader. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Okay. I like it. It goes like that. And we'll put a little tab there. Okay. Okay, that is another page, and I think we're going to end the video here for the day. But if you want to jump ahead and you're following along, check out the tutorial for the sugar cookie album, or if you want to jump ahead, check out the tutorial for the sugar cookie album, or the Neverland album, or the Winter Roses album, because they're all very similar. I think they may all be 8 3/8, so that's going to give you your size requirements also. Okay, you guys, head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy, asccraftsupplies.com. Use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off all your scrapbooking goodies, crafting goodies in general, and hang out with me. I have a couple hauls to go between these videos, but I'll be finishing this book up here this month, definitely. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.